Guys, this is Scrively again with another pen review, and today we are going to talk about the Waterman Carène. Now the Carène is a pen whose design appeals to very many people. The design really was secondary to me with that pen because I really had to get used to that pretty peculiar design in my opinion. But what really made that pen grow on me was its really nice quality. I can already say that the Waterman Carène, together with the Lamy 2000 and the Diplomat Excellence, is maybe among my three most favorite fountain pens. And as said, the reason being is they're all three snap caps I really like. I do like, while I like screw-on caps, I like snap caps for their quality of being a very fast note taker. And then this pen also has a very nice, the Waterman Carène, has a very nice weight or heft to it. It's extremely solidly built. That pen is really built like a tank. I can easily see that pen lasting a lifetime. As said, snap-on cap. The pen posts very, very deeply, very securely, makes it perfectly balanced, posted as well as unposted. And the nib is awesome. The nib has a slightly pencilish, feedbacky feeling, and you can basically throw any paper at that nib whatsoever, and it's always going to perform, from cheap office paper to a Rhodia, whatever. So I'm rather biased towards that pen, maybe not because of the design as said. I really had to get used to that, but the pen is really awesome. And with those two here, that probably among my most favorite fountain pens. As you can see, they're all fairly similar in size, so that really seems to be, as is a Lamy Safari, that really seems to be the pen size. However, the Safari is slightly longer. That works very well for me. But, well, on to that Carène here now. Before we have an in-depth look at the pen itself, let's have a quick look at the packaging. It's this typical blue, slightly roughened banderole here, Waterman Paris box that, for example, also the Waterman Expert that I have reviewed before comes in. Open the box, very nice, that looks quality, Waterman Paris, the logo in here as well. Take that out, you get one of these long standard international Waterman cartridges here. Also, the pen comes with a converter. I filled my pen here with converter, with bottled ink from the converter, and then you get a warranty and filling instructions and maintenance whatsoever guide. That's that. That comes with the pen, rather unspectacular, but what more do you want? The pen itself, price-wise, is not exactly a crazy expensive pen. It's also not a ridiculously inexpensive pen. Costs around now, well, I've seen, as with pen prices, as it often is the case, I've seen prices all over the place from 160, 180 to 260 euro whatsoever. I got mine, the Waterman Carène Black Sea Chrome trim here from La Couronne du Comte in the Netherlands for a bit above 200 euro, I believe. They're a trusted dealer, fast shipping, great service. You know, you never know, maybe there is something with the pen. You need a reliable person to turn to. I'd always buy such a pen in that price range from a dealer, such as La Couronne du Comte, for example. Well, this here, the Waterman Carène Black Sea Chrome trim, as said, is also available in a gold trim, and it is available with a chrome cap and in gunmetal and red and blue. I don't know, like, it comes in very, very many different colors. The design of the pen, as said, is something that I had to get used to a little bit. It's sort of a cigar shape, but it isn't. If you look it up on the Waterman website, they talk a lot about, you know, yachts and boats and sailing and all that. So somehow that pen design is inspired, I think, by the underside of a ship or of a boat. And then the Waterman website speaks about this wonderfully inlaid nib, like the front of a boat plowing through, you know, plowing through the sea. It plows across the white pages of a paper. Now, this is all a little bit marketing rhetoric, most likely, but to cut a long story short, apparently the pen design is reminiscent of the underside of a ship or boat design. Whatsoever, as said, I had to get used to it. You know, the cap sort of looks like a bullet maybe or something like that to me. That's what I first thought of. Has a beautifully shaped swung clip here and then sort of like tapers down towards that side. You know, I don't know, like sort of like cut off edge here with a black dot. I don't know exactly what that is. That is the aspect that I said I had to get used to. But well, I mean, as said, to me, the design of the pen is really secondary. Personally, I can see that it appeals to many people. Has like that cutout clip. That's pretty typical for Waterman to have a cutout clip. Waterman logo here on the clip. The pen's body, by the way, is black lacquered. It's several layers of lacquer. And then the clip and the platings here are palladium, I believe. Yeah, it's palladium. You have a very, very nice spring-loaded clip that is also really, really good because it flares out here a little bit. So it's very easy to slide into a shirt pocket like that. You have that palladium-plated center band here saying Waterman, France. You uncap the pen. As said, it is a snap-on cap, and we reveal let's have a look into the cap first. Yeah, there's like a plastic inner cap that prevents the nib from drying out. Works excellent. I've never picked that pen up and it wouldn't write. A very, very reliable pen. We expose a very long section, which is awesome, I find. It tapers down a little bit, so there's not a lot of variety in grip width that you can get because like the diameter is fairly the same everywhere. But yeah, you can really find your grip comfortably. You can grip or grab that pen wherever you like. You should probably not grab it too far down the nib here because then you might get ink on your fingers. I have read a lot of forum entries of people being very concerned or worried or have bad experiences with that pen because of a leaking nib or drying out nib or overly wet nib or something like that. I can only speak personally from my experience with this fine nib. The size designation is down here, as is the breather hole or like the filler hole where you suck up the ink from if you fill the pen from a bottle. I have not had any problems whatsoever with that pen. As said, nice, large, comfortable, round section. The pen is not very sensitive to angling, doesn't have a large sweet spot or whatsoever, so you can really find your grip the way you like to. Then you have some tiny ears here on the you know, on that band here on the upper side of the section, which actually does hold the cap in place. Very satisfying click, very nice. Cap definitely will not come off by accident or something like that. As said, this band then here, and then the pen does post very deep onto the barrel, almost halfway or pretty much exactly halfway down the barrel. So that cap really, the weight distribution center of this cap really, or the pen really rests here where you hold the pen. So posted or unposted, it doesn't change a lot in length. Posted, of course, it's slightly longer, but very comfortable for me to use. Posted as well as unposted. And then, of course, maybe the main feature of the pen, why maybe so many people like that pen or find it so interesting, why it appeals to them a lot, is this very beautiful inlaid nib that looks a little bit like the one of the Schaefer Legacy or something like that. This is a, excuse me, rhodium plated 18 karat gold nib, says 18 karat, Waterman logo, 750 for the gold content. Of course, no breather hole on top of the nib because that one is down here, as I've already pointed out. Then if you have a look at that part here, the lower part of the nib, you see the nib does not extend very far across the section or over the section, doesn't hang over very much. So that will also mean the pen writes very smooth, but it also does write pretty stiff. It's a pretty rigid writer because, of course, now there's not a lot of room for the nib, you know, to move up and down when you exert a little bit of pressure. But it's a very, very pleasant writer, very beautiful writer. As said, slight pencilish feedback that you get as writing with a pencil on paper. And yeah, that nib, that fine nib here really takes, I believe it's available in fine and medium. That really takes any paper whatsoever. Unscrewing the pen. Now this lacquer here is slightly slippery, not when writing, only when unscrewing. Not when writing, no slippery issues whatsoever. Also here, tight tolerances at work. As said, that pen is somehow really built like a tank. A small rubber O-ring here that really helps that barrel here stay in place, really seals it tight. The typical Waterman converter, I have a Waterman expert as well, it's exactly the same converter, so you can change converters or use the converter as well. Pen comes with a converter as said, and that here is loaded with Robert Oster's signature ink turquoise, I believe. Very nice. Let's do a size comparison now to my standard reference pen, a Lamy Safari, and let's have a look at that. Pretty much exactly the same length. The Waterman Carène might be a tad longer and uncapped. They're pretty much exactly the same size, I would say. And if we cap or post the Carène, it gets about a centimeter or maybe 1.5 longer. As said, the pen does not get a lot longer when posted because the posts fairly deep, the cap posts fairly deep onto the barrel, but it does get a wee bit longer. What's left for us to do is a writing sample. I've already spoken enough about the stellar qualities of that nib. Let's see it in action. Now it dried up a little bit in the course of the review. That can happen. As said, normally that does not happen. So here we have the Waterman Carène. I've gotten the pen with a fine nib here. The model is the Black Sea. There are other models available as well with a chrome trim. Wetness. It's a slightly wetter pen. I would say the nib is on the wet side. This Robert Oster turquoise here is not especially a very, very wet ink, but I would say it's rather on the dry side. But I would say the pen has medium wetness. As said, not a lot of line variation when you exert some pressure because there's not a lot of room for the nib to move. That is a fine nib I can compare for you here. That is a Lamy Safari. It's at 50 nib, a medium nib. Waterman Carène. And you see the medium Lamy is definitely wider than the fine Waterman. So I would say this fine here is a pretty much true to the size Western fine nib. Doesn't run on the particularly fine or wide side whatsoever. So that's that with that Waterman Carène. As said, really grew on me in the meanwhile. One of my favorite pens. I got mine from La Couronne du Comte. I hope that review was useful to you, and as always, I'll see you at the next review. Bye bye.